Hello and welcome to Winchester Now, our weekly roundup of some of the news stories in our city this week. I'm Mary Blaxland. On the programme today, the local man running the London Marathon to prove he won't be beaten by MS, free half-term activities to help with the cost of living, and celebrations for the Cathedral boys and girls choristers. Winchester Radio. Firstly today, the story of inspirational man Paul Provins, who was diagnosed with MS in 2016. He's been through gruelling treatment but is determined not to let it stop him. So much so that in April he's competing in the London Marathon, followed by an ultramarathon on the Isle of Wight. He spoke to Winchester Radio in the hope of helping others diagnosed with the illness.
I'd had some symptoms in 2015, but they sort of went after a couple of weeks, so it was just thought that it was a trapped nerve or something. And then in 2016, I had optic neuritis, so like blurred double vision. They did some checks, and I ended up having to go for an MRI. And from the scans, they saw some lesions on my brain, and the neurologist diagnosed it from the MRI.
How did you cope with that diagnosis?
It was pretty tough. We weren't given any information. We went into the hospital, and the neurologist just said, "We've checked the scans, you've got MS, and go away and let me know what you want to do." Yeah, it was a pretty dark few days, and it was at that point that I phoned the MS Society, and they were just brilliant and went through all the options, all the different treatments and everything. Yeah, I think without them it wouldn't have gone as it has, maybe, which is why I tried to do as much fundraising for them as I can to sort of pay them back a bit. And yeah, it was just a very steep learning curve as well, because obviously we'd never heard of it, but not had anything to do with it really. It was something that people in wheelchairs had, as far as I'd ever had any knowledge with, until I was diagnosed, and then looked more into it.
Tell me a bit about the treatment that you've had to go through.
So I was diagnosed on Halloween in 2016, fittingly. Then I spoke to the MS Society and went through all the options, and when I spoke to the neurologist, the opinion was to hit it hard and hit it fast. There were 11 treatments available at the time, so we went for the most powerful one. So they sort of range from, there's the least powerful, but it's the least effective, to the most powerful, but the side effects go with that. So there were quite a few scary side effects, but we sort of said, no, we'll just hit it hard. So we went, and I had it's called alemtuzumab. It was originally a leukemia treatment that they repurposed for MS, and it wipes out your lymphocytes in your blood, which are the ones that aren't very clever with MS, and it gets rid of all of those, and then hopefully the ones that come back are clever ones. So that was in February 2017, 5 days of treatment, and then in 2018, 3 days of the same treatment, but each day you get a 1.2 milliliter vial, and each one of those I think was worth about £11,000. Yeah, I was very lucky to get that treatment, and so far I'm still have got no further progression since my first MRI. They're all stable, and I've got one in a couple of weeks, which is my annual one for this year. So hopefully the treatment's worked.
Must have been tough to go through though.
Yeah, the treatment was, it completely wipes you out. It removes all of the lymphocytes from your blood, which is quite a massive hit on your body. I remember, I think it was the second round, coming home, and I think it was a few days in and it snowed, but I remember my wife and son playing in the snow outside, and we couldn't get out there to play or lift up the sugar jar in the kitchen. It was just so weak, so I had to have a month off of work each time and recover. But then the recovery then took longer and longer. It was pretty tough, but I don't regret it now. I think we made the right decision.
And how has it impacted your life since then?
Day to day is not too bad. My memory's a lot worse than it used to be. Yeah, my short-term memory isn't great. So lots of writing notes and making sure that Sarah, my wife, reminds me what's happening. Fatigue as well is a big one for me. It's got a bit better now, but I had my treatment in 2017 and 18, and for two or 3 years after that it was really bad. My speech would go, and I'd just be asleep within sort of half an hour or so. I'd involuntarily just be asleep. It would just be like hitting a brick wall. But yeah, day to day, that's my main issues.
But you haven't let it stop you, have you? What made you want to do the London Marathon?
I was born in Greenwich and grew up in South East London. We used to go up and watch it every year, and it was on my bucket list of things to do. I was sat having my second round of treatment in the hospital and decided that I wasn't going to let it beat me. And also, with MS you never know what's coming, so while I could, I wanted to get it done, so then if anything does happen, no regrets. Mainly as well to raise money for the MS Society as a thank you for everything they did when I was diagnosed, with their help.
And tell me a bit about the training that's going into this.
I run all year, but as soon as January hits after Christmas, it's straight into a training plan, running 3 times a week. I do my long runs at the weekend, and then I do some strength training as well as that, and that's building as we go. I've just been out a few hours ago and done my 10k for today, and I'm up to 10 miles at the weekend, so I'll build as we go up, get to about 22 miles and then have a rest for a week and hit London.
Because with the fatigue that you spoke about earlier, it must be a real challenge then doing all of that.
Yep, and fitting it in with the kids and work and general life, because then I have to do the run and then plan for being extra tired from the run, so that can be tricky at times, but I have very good help at home with Sarah again with managing that.
You must have a lot of determination as well.
Yeah, I think, I'm a bit stubborn and refuse to be beaten, so to me it's just a sort of kick in the face for MS every time I put my trainers on and get out the door. Then it makes me feel like I can do anything.
And it's not just the only challenge you're doing, is it, this year? You've got other things planned, parachute jump and ultra marathon, is that right?
And the parachute jump was in 2022. That was wicked fun. I want to do that again next year. So London Marathon is the 21st of April. I've then got the next weekend off, and then the weekend after is a 33-mile ultra around the Isle of Wight. It's just halfway around. Last April I did the whole way around, which was 54 miles, which took 14 and a half hours. But yeah, that was good fun, apart from the pain.
It's very impressive. And is it something that you want to encourage other people, maybe people who've just been diagnosed?
Yeah, definitely. I think the problem with MS is that every single person, it affects them completely differently. For me, I think the exercise is very good for your body and for everything, and it definitely helps me mentally deal with it and physically deal with it. So I definitely recommend anyone who can, not necessarily to do stupid events like I'm planning, unless you want to, by all means do, but even doing a little bit and just exercising is definitely beneficial.
And tell me about your social media as well. You've got quite a lot of people following you and following your progress.
Yeah, I set up an Instagram account, I think last year or the year before, and yeah, that's going quite well. I just post my runs and things about MS just to spread knowledge and awareness of it, and yeah, that's about 1,400 followers at the moment, which is nice, and it's quite good because there's like a bit of a community on there of people with MS and runners, so it's quite a nice mix of all of the things together.
And again, that must inspire other people who are going through it too. Yeah,
I've had a few messages of people who've seen it on there, and some people who've got MS and can't run and see it and use it as, like a positive thing, that it's still possible for some people, and some people who've got MS and have started running from it. Even other runners who haven't got MS who are looking at him. There's some people who've done the marathons and were thinking about ultras and have seen stuff I've done and put, okay, I'm going to do it, which is really nice.
And how are you feeling now about the London Marathon?
Yeah, I'm really excited. That's the easy bit. It's the 4 months of training before. The marathon is just like a victory lap. It's very hard work, it's a long way, but with the crowds, and it's a really, really great day. I'm really excited about it. I did it in 5 hours and 21 minutes in 2019, and I'm hoping to go somewhere between 4 and 4.5 hours this year. Yeah, hopefully I can get around it and get a new PB this year.
And the family will be there cheering you on, I expect.
Yes, my loyal wife will be there, dragging the kids around London. When I did it in 2019, they were backwards and forwards on tubes and trying to catch me at different points. But yeah, it's really nice. It is such a massive boost when you're going around and you get to like 18, 20 miles. Once you get past there, they're the really, really, really hard miles. And just seeing their faces in the crowd just gives you such a massive boost and gets you to the end. Yeah.
Paul Province talking to Winchester Radio. Plans to close 7 care homes in Hampshire and build 3 new ones have been given the go-ahead. Hampshire County Council says it's investing £173 million into its care provision, which will see bed spaces increase from 900 to 1,000, and says future services will better meet the needs of the population. But the news will bring disappointment and uncertainty for those in homes that are closing, including West Home in Winchester. The authority says specialist support will be provided. Now for some other stories making the news this week in Winchester, here's Ron Venturi.
At Winchester Cathedral and other churches across the city, prayers have been offered for King Charles following his cancer diagnosis. Buckingham Palace announced on Monday that His Majesty had started treatment and postponed public duties. Cathedral clergy say that they're there to help anyone with cancer and those caring for them, and they encourage people to approach the team if they'd like prayer and support. Police have appealed for any dashcam footage of a road rage incident in Winchester this week, following reports of an altercation in traffic between 2 drivers on the Badger Farm Road. A man in his 20s told police he was punched in the face and that his car was hit with a hammer. Officers want to hear from anyone who witnessed the incident on Monday morning, and especially from a man walking his dog who stopped to intervene. Almost 900 people have responded to a consultation about proposed improvements to a notorious road junction in Winchester. Residents supported proposals for traffic lights or a double roundabout at the Cart and Horses junction in Kingsworthy, with more people favouring the roundabout option. But the County Council has warned that there's no funding for the scheme unless it's included as part of the M3 Junction 9 redevelopment. A decision on that is due in May. The peregrine cameras at Winchester Cathedral have been turned on this week in preparation for the return of the birds. They've been nesting on the building since 2017. Last year, one chick was born to Winnie and William and named Rosie after the rose window close to where she hatched. Thousands of people from around the world view the footage online each year. And a special display will light up part of Winchester during February half-term week. Glowing galaxies will see Middlebrook Street and King's Walk transformed by lights, stars, planets and even the Northern Lights. It follows previous winter light events in the city and will be open each evening from this Saturday the 10th until Sunday the 18th. The event is funded by the government's UK Shared Prosperity Fund for Arts and Culture and is free to attend.
Staying with half-term, and this weekend sees the Children of Winchester Festival, or Cowfest. There are free activities for youngsters of all ages across the city. The event is organised by volunteers at the Winchester Sport and Leisure Trust, and I spoke to Chief Executive Emma Back.
Children of Winchester Festival has been going since 2016, and it's a free festival for children of all ages in the city of Winchester. So we started running the festival at the Tower at King's School, and initially we ran it over 2 days, Saturday and Sunday, at the start of February half term. So it's always been somewhere to go when the weather's cold and not particularly inviting, to try some things for free, have a go, see if you enjoy them. If you do, then maybe it's something you'd like to do over the longer term. So we focus on things like arts and crafts, music, and other activities, sometimes sports activities, anything that young people might like to have a try.
So tell me a bit about some of the activities that are going to be taking place this weekend.
So this time we're holding the festival at the Ark on Jury Street in Winchester. That's the festival hub, and there'll be lots of things that people can drop into on the day there. So there's story time with the children's library team. There's several music sessions for little ones, jiggy-wrigglers and me music. We've got some relaxation and mindfulness classes, a ukulele jam or two, and some sport, as well as arts and crafts running all day. So although some of those things are ticketed, we think there's going to be lots of space on the day for people just to turn up and join in. And of course, there's also 2 free exhibitions at the Ark at the moment. So there's an exhibition on shoes and also an embroidery exhibition in the City Space Gallery, so people can go along to those as well. And then we've also got activities running across the rest of the city as well. Both the City Museum and the Westgate Museums are taking part. So they're offering free entry for children over the course of the weekend, but they've also got lots of things that people can drop into as well. So they've got activity trails and arts and crafts at both museums. The City Museum has got historical story time running a few times throughout the day and origami all day long. And I think the most exciting thing, this does have to be pre-booked, is that children can take over the museum between 12 and 2. So they actually get a chance to handle artefacts, dress up and show visitors around, develop their own trails and tours of the galleries. So yeah, lots of exciting ways for young people to get involved in running a museum if they want to. People can also drop into the Brick Centre. There's lots of things happening there around the soft play area. So balloon modelling, face painting and story time again. The Sport and Leisure Park has got some free activities, swimming, climbing, Active Ants, which is gym for the younger ones. The Royal Green Jackets Museum has got free entry for families all day on Saturday. They're running some craft activities and museum trail as well. And then lastly, P&G Wells Bookshop has an author session with a local author who's going to read his book and also have some drawing activities based on his book. So there's lots of things going on, whether people want to get involved in literature, whether they want to do arts and crafts, whether history is what they're interested in, or whether they just want to undertake a whole range of different activities in one place. There's something for everyone.
Yeah, some wonderful activities there for people to get involved with. How important do you think it is to have a festival like this in Winchester?
I think it's really important. I think particularly now with the cost of living as it is, I think having one day where you know you can do things with your children for free is really important to a lot of parents and carers. I also think it's really important for younger children in particular to have a go at lots of different things, see what they enjoy, and then maybe they can follow it up and discover a new passion or a new talent. So that's why we started CalFest. And I think it has over the years gained a bit of a following. Certainly we have lots of people turn up every year and say how much they enjoy it. As I said before, it's a really good way to get out of the winter weather, the start of February half term. And that's a time of year when lots of people are hanging around in the city with not very much to do necessarily. So this is something that people can enjoy, whatever they're interested in and however much money they have in their pocket.
It must take a lot of organisation. You're all volunteers. You've all given up your time for free to organise this.
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of the providers that are offering activities are giving up their time for free, and the people that help out on the day as volunteers obviously are giving their time up for free as well. You know, that's what we're trying to do really, is to have that sense of community spirit, everyone coming together. There are a lot of things that people can do that are very costly. Family days out can easily go over £100, spending a day and having lunch and all the rest of it. You don't have to do that with CalFest. Everything is free. So hopefully it's an affordable way for everybody to get together and enjoy themselves.
And how do people find out more if they want to get involved?
So they can go to the webpage on our website, calfest.org.uk. That has the whole programme, but they can also go to some of the venues that I've mentioned as well to book their tickets. So the ARC Winchester website has all the activities that they're offering at that venue that people can book. The Kids Museum Takeover has to be booked by the Hampshire Cultural Trust website. And all the details for all the booking links are on that URL that I mentioned previously, calfest.org.uk.
Hi, Paul Blitz here, and I've got some great shout-outs for you this week. First of all, in our community shout-outs this week is a huge congratulations to the Winchester Cathedral choristers, who've won themselves a Grammy Award. They performed vocals to a soundtrack written for the Star Wars Jedi Survivor video game. It won Best Soundtrack for Video Games and Interactive Media. The track was written by a former chorister, Stephen Barton, who commissioned the choristers for the recording at the Abbey Road Studios back in 2022. Director of Music at Winchester Cathedral, Andrew Lumsden, said the choristers are thrilled to have won the award, and there are similar projects already in the pipeline. Congratulations too to the organisers of Winchester's Junior Parkrun, which marked its 300th event last Sunday. 127 children crossed the finish line with 30 volunteers helping the celebrations. The first Junior Parkrun was held on the 3rd of July 2016 with around 70 youngsters taking part each week. The event relies on volunteers to organise this fantastic event, so a big thanks to all of them. A shout out now to amateur theatre group The Worthy Players, who have donated £500 to the Friends of King Alfred's buses after the charity was rocked by a devastating fire last December, which destroyed one of their vintage vehicles. A cheque presentation ceremony took place in the Broadway, with the Worthy Players later being treated to a ride on a 1929 Leyland Lion bus through the city. And well done to Homestart Winchester, who have just moved into new offices. The family support charity has relocated from Lanterns Nursery to the Carroll Centre in Stanmore. A number of local businesses have helped the charity with the move, including providing new flooring, paint and fencing. The move was celebrated with a lunch party for staff, volunteers and trustees. OK, so it's back to the rest of the Winchester Now team. I'll have more shout-outs for you next week.
Winchester Radio.
Well, we've just heard about the success of the Winchester Cathedral Boy Choristers, and it's a big year too for the Cathedral Girls Choir. This year marks their 25th anniversary. Founded in 1999, the choir is made up of around 20 girls aged 11 to 18 from schools in the Winchester and Hampshire area. Well, on the 24th of February, an open day is taking place for anyone who might be interested in joining them. I went along to rehearsals and began by talking to three of the choristers, Gwenny, Hannah and Ira, about why being in the choir is so special to them.
My mum's kind of been connected with the cathedral for quite a while, so she told me about it and I thought it just sounded amazing because I love singing, and so I thought being able to sing every week and making friendships and everything just sounded great.
And what is it like being part of this?
It's amazing, really, because the stuff we sing is just so amazing. We sang The Messiah. It was a few weeks ago, and that was just incredible. It's just getting to do that every week. It's just amazing.
And how tough was it to get into the choir? What was the process like?
Well, I came here and Mr. Lunston, who was head of music, auditioned me. I just brought one of the pieces that I was learning with me, and it was really nice. It was really welcoming. Some of the older girls, the head choristers, I think at the time, kind of came round and just welcomed me in and said hi and introduced themselves. And then I sang my song, and then they sent me an email saying we'd love to have you, and then
And what's it like for you to be part of this? What do you most enjoy?
Well, obviously the music, but the concerts that we do are really amazing. When we sing with the boys and then we sing with all the lay clerks and lots of the other choirs, I think, like Ira said, the Messiah was incredible to be a part of. And all the friendships that you make along the way, it's like a little family. I think being a part of something like that is really amazing.
And you came to the open day, didn't you? There's an open day coming up now. What's it like for people to join that open day?
I think the open day is a really good opportunity to get to know what the choir's like. There's so many people come to it, and you get to talk to to current choristers. You get to talk to ones that have just joined and what it's like for them. Go on a tour of the cathedral, sing a service with the current choristers. It's just a really nice way of getting to know the atmosphere and the people. And you do warm-ups with Miss Grinnell and Miss Jones. It's a really nice way of getting to know everything before you get thrown in at the deep end when you start.
And what is it like when you get thrown in that first time? What's it like the first time you sing in the cathedral?
I mean, it's amazing. Singing the first time in the cathedral, I remember my first service because I joined in COVID, and we all had to stand so far away from each other in rehearsals and things, you didn't quite get the full effect. But when we went into that first service and had the full choir, the lay clerks, everyone, it was just the most incredible sound. And I've never not had goosebumps when I've heard that sound for the first time, that first sound of a whole choir singing together and knowing you're connected.
And what does it mean to you to be part of this group, to be part of the choir?
It's honestly one of the best decisions I ever made, because my dad found out about the choir and I wasn't quite sure if I wanted to join. I just sort of thought, we'll go along for the fun of it. I auditioned, got in, and it's one of the best decisions I've made because I love it so much. It's the highlight of my week, coming here, seeing all my friends. I mean, like the others said, the friendships that you make are just unbelievable. I've got friends that are now in university that I met in the choir, and we're still in touch and we always see each other when they come back. I think that's what's amazing, because you've got girls as young as 11 and as old as however, because once they've left the choir, and yet everyone still stays so close, remains in touch, comes back for concerts and services, and it's just a really lovely community.
Hi, I'm Claudia. I'm one of the organists here at the Cathedral, and I run the Cathedral Girls Choir.
So the open day's coming up. What can people expect if they come along?
If you come along to our open day, you can expect to do some singing with the choir, to learn a bit more about what it's like to be a chorister. There'll be plenty of cake, there always is. And then it's a chance to meet chorister parents, find out a little bit more about what it's really like to be a chorister here at the Cathedral.
And who can come along? What sort of person are you looking for?
We're looking for any girl aged school year 5, 6 or 7. When we audition, we're auditioning in year 6 and year 7 for year 7 and year 8 entry. But anyone who loves to sing, anyone who thinks they might love to sing, everyone's welcome.
And do they need to have any particular skill before they come along?
No particular skill, just an interest in music and a kind of a love of singing and wanting to be a part of a team is really helpful. Some of our girls do play instruments before they join us, but we encourage everyone to come along and we provide all the musical training that they need.
And just speaking to the girls now, clearly they all love it, don't they?
They do, I hope they do. I didn't prep them on their answers, but they're a really happy team, they're lovely to each other, and they're a real joy to work with, so it's really something that would be special to be a part of.
And it's the 25th anniversary this year of having the Winchester Cathedral Girls Choir. What's being done to celebrate that?
It's really exciting. We've had 2 new pieces of music commissioned for us, which have been financed by former choristers and their parents. So one of them is sitting on my desk at the moment, waiting to be printed, and the next one is due to arrive at the beginning of March, which is really, really exciting. And we're going to premiere both of those pieces at a big celebratory evensong on the 5th of May.
And how are they feeling? How are you feeling about being 25 years old? It's a great achievement, isn't it?
It's a massive achievement, and cathedral music has changed so much in the last 25 years. We weren't the first, but we were one of the earliest girls' choirs in the country, and now it's much more common to see boys and girls being involved in cathedral music, which is fantastic. So we're really proud of how far we've come. We've got lots of exciting plans for the future.
And anyone who's thinking, oh, this might be for me, or they think they've got a family member who is interested in joining, what would you say to them to encourage them to come along?
We'd love to hear from you. If you have any questions, we'd love to answer those in advance. All the contact details are on our website, on the What's On page. Yeah, it's really just a chance to come and find out more. There's no pressure if you come along, you must audition. That's absolutely not what's happening. There's no test on the day. We just want people to come along, find out more, and have a really lovely afternoon.
Well, everyone, the atmosphere that you're singing is really nice, so there's nothing to be scared of as such. All the vocal coaches and Miss Grinnell, the choir leaders, are so lovely, and I think just give everything a try. All the groups just really sing out, just try and have fun, because that's what the choir is, basically.
If you love singing, definitely come along. You don't need to be kind of super confident in your own voice, because it's just such a welcoming community. Like for my first year, I was quite nervous about singing out because everyone was older. But I think now it's just, I don't really think about that anymore. You've just got to come along. If you think you'll enjoy it, then definitely give it a try.
The Winchester Cathedral Girls Choir finishing our programme today. From next week, Winchester Now will be on at the earlier time of 6 p.m. on a Friday, repeated at 10 p.m. that evening and 10 a.m. on Saturday morning. From this week, we're now back on DAB. You can also listen back to the programme on our website, winchester.radio, and as a podcast on all the usual podcast platforms. Many thanks to Ron and Paul for their help this week, and thanks to you for listening. Goodbye until next week.
Thanks for listening to Winchester Now, a weekly roundup of stories from Winchester Radio. If you have a story to share with us, please let us know. You can drop us an email. We're news@winchester.radio, and you can follow us on social media. Just search for Winchester Radio.
Winchester